Hello, I'm Africa 54 Managing Editor Vincent McCory sitting in for Esther Githui-Ewart. It's Friday, August the 6th. This is Africa 54.
Tigrayan forces take control of Ethiopia's Lalibela UNESCO heritage site. How a Kenyan panic button app is alerting police on crime. And Malawi's top blind athlete trains for a Paralympic comeback.
We begin in East Africa, where witnesses say forces from Ethiopia's Tigray region have taken control of the town of Lalibela. The town is famed for rock-hewn churches that are a United Nations World Heritage Site. Soraya Ali has the story.
Forces from Ethiopia's Tigray region have taken control of the town of Lalibela, and residents were fleeing, 2 eyewitnesses told Reuters on Thursday. Lalibela's famed rock-cut churches are a United Nations World Heritage Site. It's also a holy site for millions of Ethiopian Orthodox Christians in the Amhara region in the country's north. A resident of Lalibela spoke to Reuters by phone and said he saw hundreds of armed men speaking Tigrinya, the language of ethnic Tigrayans, walking through the town on Thursday. He said they were not speaking Amharic, the language of the people of Lalibela, and were wearing different uniforms from those of the federal military. He said forces from the Amhara region, which are allied to Ethiopia's central government, fled on Wednesday night together with local officials. A second man told Reuters by phone he left Lalibela on Thursday morning as Tigrayan forces were arriving. Reuters could not independently verify the eyewitnesses' information, and spokespeople for the Prime Minister, the Ethiopian military, and a government task force on Tigray did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Fighting has spread from Tigray into 2 neighboring regions, Amhara and Afar, in recent weeks, forcing around 250,000 people to flee. Senior officials from the United Nations and the United States government who visited Ethiopia this week also raised alarm at the widening of the war in Tigray to other parts of northern Ethiopia.
Well, that was Soraya Ali of Reuters reporting. Senegal's Institute Pasteur of Dakar has a new deal with U.S. company Mediinstill for the bottling of COVID-19 shots. An AU document shows marking a step to becoming a fully fledged maker of coronavirus vaccines for Africa. The EU document says the key decision on what type of COVID-19 vaccine will be produced at the IPD has not yet been made. This comes as Senegal's doctors and cemetery workers are battling a COVID-19 surge. Emma McCarthy has more.
At Dalal Jam Hospital in the Senegalese capital Dakar, only the sound of a ventilator and beeps from a monitor indicate that the pregnant COVID-19 patient in intensive care is still alive. A few cubicles down, another woman is on oxygen after giving birth while sick with the coronavirus, as a third wave threatens to overwhelm Senegal's hospitals and some of its cemeteries. Intensive care doctor Kadi Fall says the beds are at full occupancy.
We are exhausted, physically exhausted, but above all emotionally exhausted, because this third wave is above all the wave of youth. There are young people, both men and women, but above all there are many pregnant women, and that emotionally exhausts us.
Health Ministry figures show Senegal, which until July had recorded fewer than 44,000 COVID-19 cases and 1,166 deaths, has registered more than 20,000 cases and 250 deaths since the start of July. A short drive from the hospital, gravediggers at a Catholic cemetery are struggling to keep up with the number of burials.
Since the third wave arrived, we have been working until 10 p.m, which never happened before. Our workload has increased. Also, before, we did not build the graves the day of the burial. We used to build the graves the day before so that the burial could be done the next day. But if you look at the one behind me, we built it today and buried it today.
And the West African nation isn't alone. The WHO said on Thursday that coronavirus-related deaths in Africa reached a record peak last week, partly spurred by the highly transmissible Delta variant.
Well, Emma McCarthy of Reuters filed that report. A humanitarian group say at least 2.3 million children and youth are going hungry in northeastern Nigeria, where an Islamist insurgency is forcing farmers to flee their fields, putting the region on the brink of critical food shortages. Save the Children estimates that 700,000 children under age 5 are among the children affected. The London-based group is calling on the government to protect farmers and dedicate more resources to the region. Attacks by Islamist militants are intensifying in the northeast Nigeria in recent months. As crime rates in Kenya rise during the pandemic, a Kenyan developer who was a crime victim himself created a mobile application to help people alert police about emergencies. Now, the application is so successful that Kenya's police force has adopted it. Victoria Munga reports from Nairobi.
At Kenya's National Police Command and Control Center, officers are monitoring movement of the public. While the technology helps in catching suspected criminals, the crime increase during the pandemic overwhelms this technology. But a mobile application created by a Kenyan developer is helping to meet this challenge. Called Upesi, meaning quick in Swahili, the mobile app enables crime victims to raise alerts to police or security firms.
It's on your phone, meaning it's mobile. The response comes to you anywhere you are. It's not fixed. And the coverage is huge because we have a large network of providers. So all the user needs to do is to go on the phone and trigger an alert or click the phone's power button at least 4 times in order to get emergency.
Kenyan authorities say some members of the public don't report suspected criminals fearing retaliation, but technologies such as this can help apprehend criminals, say police.
We endeavor to use technology to fight crime, and any application that can assist in reporting or tracking criminals will be implemented. Technology is key in fighting crime.
Anthony Murithi, who lives with disabilities, is among the millions of Kenyans who could be targeted by criminals as the COVID-19 pandemic continues to disrupt livelihoods.
As a person with a disability, my security is to a large extent compromised because I cannot put up a fight. So I needed something that is going to give me a unit, to be there for me in case of any danger.
In a 2021 report, the UN Congress on Crime Prevention and Criminal Justice found that the pandemic is putting a strain on authorities' capacity to detect, prevent and combat crime. Kenya's security officials hope that technology will make a difference in crime prevention. Victoria Amunga for VOA News, Nairobi.
The former South African President Jacob Zuma was admitted to hospital for medical observation on Friday. This according to the government's Correctional Services Department. Zuma, 79, has been locked up at Escort Prison in KwaZulu-Natal province since handing himself over on July the 7th to serve a 15-month sentence for contempt of court. Zuma's foundation, while confirming that he was in hospital, says it is for his annual routine medical checkup. Correctional Services says a routine observation at the prison had prompted authorities to take Zuma to an outside hospital for further examination. Moroccans make up the largest migrant population in Spain, with around 1 million people of Moroccan origin currently living in the country. Some arrive illegally, hoping to find work. Others are offered seasonal jobs through official work programs in sectors like agriculture. However, as Henry Ridgewell and Alfonso Bierto report, in some cases, the workers' expectations are far from the reality they face in the fruit fields of southern Spain.
The Spanish explorer Christopher Columbus set sail for America in 1492 from Palos de la Frontera. Today, the port town is a destination for many migrant workers. The region is famous for the production of strawberries. Some 250,000 tons of the fruit are exported from here to Europe and across the world. Seasonal workers are brought over from North Africa on official programs. Most are women. In the strawberry fields, thousands of women are brought over the Mediterranean from Morocco to pick the fruit. Many cannot read and write. Campaign groups and labour unions have filed complaints about their working conditions. The cooperative group Freswelva is one of the biggest employers, with some 5,000 workers, mostly female, on its books in 2021.
Controls are set by the trade unions and inspections, which naturally oversee everything to ensure that it is all done correctly.
But the regional Andalusian labour union, represented in Huelva by José Antonio Brazzo, has made many complaints over the treatment of the workers and the condition of their housing. This accommodation, owned by the fruit farm Carrefour, has been officially denounced by the union. They say up to 10 workers live in a single housing unit made up of 5 rooms. There is one shared bathroom and no drinking water.
In no country in Europe is this allowed. They would close the company, but not here. Here it is denounced and nothing happens.
Carrefour denied the housing was in poor condition, but did not reply to repeated requests for further comment. Labour unions say working conditions here are tough. On seeing the union representative, this worker asks for painkillers.
It hurts, no?
Yes.
Many women have been here for many years and they suffer from chronic back pain and possibly hernias, but they do not go to the doctor. No one does anything for them. The boss does not take them to the doctor.
This year, 12,500 women came from Morocco to harvest strawberries. According to Freswelva, women are preferred because they are more likely to return to their families in Morocco after the contract ends, rather than stay illegally in Spain.
The link they have with their country of origin, in this case Morocco, encourages them to return.
Outside the strawberry farms in public areas, there are informal settlements where undocumented migrants wait for illegal offers to work on farms. They live with no water or electricity. Fires occasionally break out. A recent blaze here claimed the lives of 2 people. Most of Huelva's annual strawberry crop is exported to Europe, where the consumers are often unaware of the toil and sacrifice that goes into each box. Henry Ridgewell in London and Alfonso Beato in Huelva, Spain, for VOA News.
Visually impaired athlete Taonere Mbanda was Malawi's first Paralympian to compete at the Games and is now training for the Tokyo Paralympics, which begin August 24th. The 25-year-old runner is also supporting a campaign to ensure children with disabilities, especially girls, aren't left behind in education. Lamed Masina reports from Zomba, Malawi.
Taonere Mbanda's passion for running suffered a setback in 2011 when she was banned from competing in school athletics because of her visual impairment.
The school where I was studying refused to let me take part in sports. It took the interests of some well-wishers who backed me that allowed me to start running.
Thanks to a 2012 sporting event organized by Malawi's Paralympic Association, Mbanda's running skills were spotted when she won both 400 and 800-meter races. Mbanda went on to win medals in several local events and in 2016 became the country's first athlete to represent Malawi at the Paralympic Games in Brazil. But she was disqualified because she left her lane, a mistake she says will not repeat at the Paralympics in Tokyo.
I have learned it is not good to run on the edge of the lane, as you are likely to be off track. This time around, Malawians should expect me to bring a gold medal from Japan.
But the conditions in which she trains are not the best, say some observers. A criticism dismissed by Mbanda's coach.
We cannot ask more just because this is what we have. So we are just training here. only that the tactics that we use here, they are the very same tactics that the athlete can use during the competition. So it doesn't matter much to us.
Like Banda, children with disabilities in Malawi often suffer from stigma and discrimination. Although Malawi enacted a Disability Act in 2012 to provide equal opportunities for people with disabilities, activists say the law is not being implemented in some areas.
This has to happen at all levels, not just in government offices, but also even in rural areas where most of the persons with disabilities are living.
Banda is supporting a campaign to ensure children with disabilities, especially girls, aren't left behind.
Tauner has inspired me a lot. She has set a good example that disability is not inability. Her success in the games confirms that.
For now, Banda continues to prepare for the Tokyo Games as she hopes to fulfill her dream of bringing a gold medal home. Lamek Masina for VOA News, Zomba, Malawi.
We're excited to hear what you think about Africa 54. Join the discussion on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. We're also streaming our broadcast live on Facebook. Please watch and share our show with your friends. Also, check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Still to come, in our entertainment report, tuning in to the feminine side of West African music. Stay with us. Well, Zambia's Council of Churches, a prominent religious group, is expressing concern about clashes between supporters of political parties in the run-up to the next week's general election. Now, the clashes are often blamed on the two main parties, the governing Patriotic Front and the main opposition, United Party for National Development Alliance. VOA's Peter Clote sat down with Father Emmanuel Chikoya, the General Secretary of the Council of Churches.
We believe peace is necessary for you to have free, fair, and credible elections. Our theology informs us that human life is sacred. You know, human beings are made in the image of God. And so even just a liter of blood or whatever, a milliliter of blood is one too many. We are very concerned about issues of violence and actually how and why they continue to occur. Yeah.
Does your organization engage with these political parties to address their concerns, the reason why their supporters, or cadres for that matter, engage in acts of violence ahead or in the run-up to the elections?
Yes, we have what we call confessional box arrangements, where you meet behind the scenes. We've met both the Patriotic Front, we've met the UPND. At the end of the day, what we seem to pick out, it's the issues of the selective application of the law. When the Public Order Act is not fairly applied, those that feel left out, those that feel they can't look up to the police to defend them or to give them space, begin to get agitated and feel like they need to fight for their rights.
So far, a lot of complaints have been lodged that the Electoral Commission has not necessarily been fair to address concerns of political parties and other stakeholders in the run-up to the elections. What is your take on concerns that the Electoral Commission has yet to address concerns of major stakeholders ahead of the election?
One of the obvious ones would be something to do with the voter register. Mm-hmm. I think the preferred route is ongoing, a continuous registration of voters, not discarding of the old register and then replacing it with a new one. Mm-hmm. You saw the timing issues. and it's cultivating season, it's a planting season, and then you have mobile units that are going to be 2 days here and they're gone to another area, and people have to debate, should I go and cultivate, should I go and register as a voter? And with all the congestion and equipment sometimes that failed and inadequate staffing, those are issues of a challenge. And also they need to harmonize. They may not be the ones issuing NRCs, but these are government institutions. There's need to harmonize. You need an NRC in order to register as a voter. So you cannot give these, have these processes happening in a haphazard manner.
Father Chikoya, briefly, do you think the political temperature in the country, or for that matter, the environment here in Zambia, is conducive enough to ensure the administration of peaceful, transparent, and credible elections come August 12?
I think there are areas of concern. When you have other stakeholders constantly being blocked on very flimsy grounds, suddenly you have Zambians that need a passport or some visa to be moving from one town to the other because police will tell them, we didn't know you are coming here. Do the police need to know I'm visiting Chipata or whatever? People must be free to be able to move around, market themselves without any problem. The airspace, for example, needs to be available for people to use and not just at the beck and call of those that are in the ruling party. So basically, that is an area that requires concern. I mean, that is a source of concern because it's not about what happens on polling day. It's actually the environment before. How are the police handling, the various stakeholders? Are they biased towards, for example, the ruling party? Are they so swift and brutal when it comes to the other camps? And we have seen those things happening, and we have continuously said, let the police be the police, let them be professional. And we do not doubt the capacity of the police. They should be able to deliver if not interfered with. ZNBC and other private media, public media entities can still deliver if they're not interfered with. But you'll find that some of these acts that provide for these institutions still need a lot of attention and fine-tuning so that people can have security of tenure of office and be able to work.
Well, that was VOA Spirit Clotter speaking with Father Emmanuel Chikoya, Zambia's General Secretary of the Council of Churches. Well, tuning into the feminine side of West African music this week, Heather Maxwell, host of VOA's Music Time in Africa radio show, has this latest roundup of top music of videos from Ghana, Mali, and Nigeria. Let's take a look.
Sometimes it feels like success is a trap.
What are the best current music videos by female West African artists? Here's my top 3. To my number 1 top current music video by a West African female artist is Hustle by Tenny the Entertainer from Nigeria. This clip, which comes off of Tenny's Wonderland album that she released earlier in 2021, premiered on July 1st. It has about 2 million YouTube views already, but 4,000 comments. That's a lot of comments compared to YouTube views. What I love is the emotional value to this visual story. I mean, I cannot get through a quarter of the music video without crying. I mean, literally, I'm crying, tears rolling down my cheeks. And I'm not the only one that reacts to her video this way. Fans on YouTube talk about it a lot. The story here is tragic. Tenny loses her beloved father in a car crash, but she survives. And yet people are criticizing her. So it's a story of one person's struggle with grief, with sorrow, and pressure. TJ Omori, the video director, is amazing. And Tenny is amazing in every way. That's why Hustle is number one. So there you are, Hustle, Kokoro, Forever Remix. Those are my top 3 current music videos by female artists from West Africa. See you next time.
I hope you've been thoroughly entertained and informed. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. From all of us here in Washington, have a great weekend.